It is my pleasure to introduce the Chief Operating Officer of IGT, Jay Gendron. Jay?
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good afternoon. I appreciate everybody joining us today. It has been a long 2.5 years of peaks and valleys, and I must say it feels great to be standing before you today. This day would not have been possible without the support of Governor McKee and his team, the stewardship of Speaker Crisafulli, the determination of Senate President Ruggiero, and the collaboration of my friend and colleague, Marc Crisafulli. I would be remiss if I did not recognize the hard work and tireless efforts by Governor Gina Raimondo and her team, particularly Kevin Gallagher, former lottery director Jerry Orban, and current director Mark Furklow. All of these folks worked through thick and thin and helped us create a quality agreement for the taxpayers while ensuring that 2 of the state's top businesses continue to operate. From the committee chairs in the House and the Senate, Chairman Abney and Chairman Pearson, I thank you for your time, insight, patience, and understanding. I'm deeply appreciative of the hardworking staffers. For all these folks throughout state government, I cannot stress enough how important these people were to the passage of this legislation. This is an economic development success story that Rhode Island's leaders should be proud of and should be able to say with confidence, we did this. We kept more than 1,100 well-paying jobs here, brought in more than $250 million in economic investment, approved a $100 million renovation and expansion to protect the state's 3rd largest source of revenue, and ensured not 1, but 2 companies continue to operate here in Rhode Island for the next 20 years. All of this was accomplished during a once-in-a-lifetime pandemic. You have to tip your hat to the leadership of this state who stepped up to make this happen. Some people wonder what I'll remember most about this experience. You'd be wrong if you thought I'd said the battles in the media or the roller coaster ride we took to get here. It is the people, pure and simple, specifically my colleagues from IGT. I will never forget watching that line of 300 to 400 IGT employees walk from our building to this State House and testify over a 6-hour period in House Finance. I am so proud of all of them. I am grateful for their hard work, and I am honored to stand here and represent them. Today's signing is a validation of those people and how hard they work day in and day out at IGT and in our communities around the state. So today, we celebrate optimism. IGT is poised for many exciting opportunities in business and as a member of this community. It is a new day with a new partner in Bally's. Together, we will ensure gaming in Rhode Island continues to be a model that other states follow. From everyone at IGT, thank you, and we are grateful to those who made this day happen. Now, it is my great Thank you. It is my great honor to introduce my friend, my former boss and colleague, Marc Crisafulli. Marc I could not be any happier that our lawmakers decided to name this bill in your honor. We are all praying for you and wishing you nothing but the best.
Thank you, Jay. If I'm being honest, I'm just jealous of his haircut. Honestly, thank you for that kind introduction and for everything. When a piece of legislation is 2.5 years in the making, there are a lot of people to thank. And I'm really grateful that I have the opportunity to thank them right now. I won't be able to hit everyone. I've got to start first with Bally's and the whole Bally's team. It's a tremendous company. It's changed. You know, a couple years ago we were Twin River with a couple of properties. Now we're becoming a global company, and we couldn't be happier and more excited for the growth and all the great things that are going to come and that we're going to do here together with IGT. Two great global gaming superpowers headquartered right here in Providence. So as has been so eloquently stated, this legislation represents an enormous economic development commitment by these two companies with deep roots in Rhode Island. However, it did not start out that way, as Jay and so many others have indicated. We fought rather hard for our own interests until together we determined the responsible thing to do was to focus on how we make this work together. And together we did just that. So I first want to thank my counterparts at IGT, Jay, Bob Vincent, Mike Mello, and their whole outstanding team. Without that collaboration, we could have never put together this framework that will take us decades from now into an investment and growth for the state. Governor, thank you for today's ceremony and for supporting this legislation. As Lieutenant Governor, you were a tireless advocate for business big and small. Now that you're governor, you've only stepped it up. You know, it's great to see everything that you're doing. People have talked about the benefits of this legislation, so I won't highlight all of those again. But 101 days into your administration, it's safe to say all of Rhode Island is lucky to have you at the helm. This legislation shows the power of what is possible when business and government get together to advance the interests of the citizens of Rhode Island. There are so many other people who deserve thanks, but I've got to start first with you, President Ruggiero, right? It was the fall of 19, we had just had contested hearings, we were at a stalemate, and the state was desperately in need of leadership. And you alone stepped up. You brought us together and you forged a compromise focused on jobs and economic development and protecting the third largest revenue source for the state. I can say with certainty, without your efforts that day, President Ruggiero, we wouldn't be here today. So thank you. Speaker Shikarchi, after we got to that moment, you insisted that we both give a little more, right? And you Shikarchized the deal. But in the end, you took a piece of good legislation and you made it better for Rhode Island, right? Jobs are faster, more investment, more support of I-195. I can go on and on and on about how you laid this legislation better. So thank you both, President Ruggiero and Speaker Shikarchi. There are so many other people I could thank. I just want to hit on a couple. One, our partners in organized labor, George Nee and Michael Sabatoni for stepping up. Two, the Chambers of Commerce, including specifically the Northern Rhode Island Chamber led by Liz Catucci. Just a rock star. Thank you. I'm also so thankful personally and professionally for Elizabeth Seaver. She stepped in when I got my cancer diagnosis and led the outstanding Bally's team, helping to bring this across the finish line. So thank you, Elizabeth. I'll see you. Now, on a personal note, I'm so humbled that this is called the Marc A. Crisafulli Economic Development Act. This hasn't been an easy time for me or my family. When I heard those words, stage 4, I was terrified. It's not something you ever anticipate. But I came to realize those words don't have to be the end of the story. They're just a moment in time, just a point along the journey. I came to that realization not because of myself, because I was really struggling, but I came to it because of the unbelievable support I received from my wife, Melissa, from my kids, Gabby, Sam, and Jake, from my mother, and from my friends, family, and colleagues, and honestly from this whole community. I am reminded daily how fortunate I am to be a lifelong Rhode Islander and to call this home. So I want to close by telling you about a phone call that meant so much to me. It was soon after I started my battle. I was in the hospital. I was down, I was struggling, I was challenged, and Speaker Shikarchi was on the line. He told me of the plan to name the legislation after me. It provided me such a boost. It just gave me such a positive feeling to take on this battle. Thank you genuinely, Mr. Speaker. I really can't tell you what it meant to me. Do you remember how you ended the call? You said to me, Mark, we need you here for a long time to live up to these commitments. Right? Well, I told you then, and I'm telling you now, I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to beat this. And when I do, I look forward to working with you, Governor McKee, you, Speaker Shikarchi, and you, President Ruggiero, for years to come. But thank you all genuinely for this honor and for this moment, which I will never forget. So now, Governor, let's sign that bill.